The sparkling snow-capped peaks, blue sky, white clouds drifting gently in the birds soaring below. The scene observed from the hilltop, Awaz, a 23-years boy, looked happier that day, because he wasn't alone as usual, but with someone. Long brown hair, twinkling eyes, a sweet smile. He was with his dream girl, someone he'd admired since long. Talks went forth, yet with some hesitation at the beginning. It gradually got easier. She began, "I hadn't realized you were such an expressive and nice boy." "That was so nice of you," he replied. A few moments of hesitation and a little laughter followed. He reached out and grasped an eyelash that had fallen over her cheeks and kept it over back of her right hand. "Just close your eyes and make a wish, it'll be granted," he said. She followed him. Later he thought, what she'd have wished for. Yet anxious, he didn't dare to ask her. All in a sudden, he heard somebody calling him. He turned. He was shocked to find that he'd been dreaming. It was an early morning. The curtains were drawn. His mother was standing by the window. Without saying anything, she turned back to her daily chores. He tried to fall asleep again, but in vain. Awaz used to be good at his studies and other extracurriculars. After his father's accident and demise a year back, he started feeling lonely, began to seclude himself. His father had been the closest partner to him. He revered him a lot. He couldn't complete his high school. Introvert since childhood, he didn't express what he'd been feeling to his mates and others. Often his mother would ask him about his sadness. He'd find ways to skip the conversation. It had been around 4 months he'd seen that girl. Her place wasn't far from his. She was a merchant's daughter, who used to run a store. He used to visit her store often, trying to find ways to have a conversation with her. Whenever his mother needed groceries for kitchen, she used to prepare the list of needful items, handed it to him and send him to the market. Very often, he used to miss items from the list buying them. That day, after her unsuccessful attempts to woke him up, she'd been to the kitchen for breakfast. She called him from the kitchen with a loud voice. A little afterwards, he appeared. She handed the grocery list with some money and requested him to visit the market. He returned to his room. With the items of daily use and clothes cluttered in the room, it took him more time than previous to get freshened up. Afterwards, he got ready and moved towards the store. When he was there, he was dismayed to discover that the store was closed. He walked a few distance towards her house to soothe himself. Her house was well decorated. The curiosity welcomed him to the entrance. It was open. He saw a crowd of people. He speculated that some function had been running on, asked a neighbor nearby and was shocked to find that it was her wedding ceremony. He finally saw her, in a wedding dress. He was taken aback. He tried to control his emotions and rushed a few distance where he found another store. He got alert after the storekeeper asked him what he wanted. He checked his pockets, got startled. He probably had lost the list on the way. He couldn't remember when and where. He was speechless. He quickly began to move towards the road on his way home and paused over the bridge. He thought, looking down, what a contrast between the dream the morning and the reality at the moment. Whom should I share my sorrows with? How to face my mother empty-handed? What should I tell her? Will she listen to me? Even this lifeless river has a sound everybody likes to listen to. I am so empty. His inner voices tormented him more than the sound of the vehicles around him. Suddenly, he grasped tight the railing at the edge of the bridge. Without a second thought, he jumped off and a loud splash was heard. Numerous discussions and conversations took place about the splash thereafter.